ईरा बनचारी नतीरा बनचारी जयो राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपदा Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So today we will speak about third canto, 9th chapter, shloka number 708. Okay, so let me start. Let me share this. Before starting, let us recite the Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadam Tadaki Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamala Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Om Sagrajatam Sagara Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Savadritam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Divam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kandashi Vishakam He Krishna Karanasi Dinabandhu Jagatpati Kopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutiti Pranamami Hari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamre Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyari Pashadi Shatani Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, yeah, let us recite today's shloka. So it is third canto, chapter number 9 and shloka number 7 and 8. Okay, so let us start. Before that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yes, let me start. Daivena te hata diyo Bhagavata prasangat sarva subho smat vimuktendriya ye kurvanti kama sukha isha davyadina lobhapi bhuta manaso akshulan shashvat devena te hata diyo bhagavata prasangat sarva subhopa sanamat vimuktendriya ye kurvanti kama sukalesha lavya tina lobha vibhuta manaso akshulani shashvat. Let me read the word to word meaning. Devena, by the fate of misfortune, they hatadiyaha, bereft of memory, bhavataha, of you, prasangat, from the topic, sarvaha, all, ashubhaha, inauspicious, upa, samanat, curbing down, vimukkaha, turn against, indriyaha, senses, ye, those, kurvantihi, act, kamaha, sense gratification, sukhaha, happiness, desha, brief, lavyaha, for the moment only, dinaha, poor fellows, lobha bhutaha, overwhelmed by the greed, manasaha, of those whose mind, akshalani, inauspicious activity, shashvat, always. Purport and translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri. Oh my Lord, person who are bereft of all the auspicious performance of chanting and hearing and about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good senses. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. So let us read the purport. The next question is why people are against such auspicious activities as chanting and hearing. Hearing the glories and the pastime of Lord, which can bring a total freedom from the cat's anxiety of the material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate of a supernatural control to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. The Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate person and in the missionary spirit try to persuade them into the line of devotional service. Only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. Yeah. Okay. So let me go to the next sloka also. Also, yeah. Kushutrut Kushutrutridha Bhutabihir Imah Mahor Ardaya Manaha Sitoshna Vata Sarvasya Itrate Taracha Kaman Kinaha Achyutarusa Sudurbyarena Sampasyato Mana Urukrama Siddhyate Me Kushut Kushut Krut. Let me word to word meaning. Kushut hunger, thirst, three abutabihi, three humors, mainly mucus, bile, and wind. Ima, all of them, muhu, always, are the are yamanaha, perplexed, sita, winter, usna, summer, vata, wind, varaisahi, by rain, tarha, itarahat, and by other disturbance, cha, also, kama, agni, na, by the strong sex urges, achyutarusaha, indefi, indefatigable anger, cha, also, sudurbarena, most unbearable, some pashyataha, so observing, manaha, mind, urukramaha, who great actor, siddhati, become despondent, me, me, oh great actor, oh great actor, my lord. All those poor creatures are constantly perplexed by the hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion, and bite, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by the strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them, and I am very much aggrieved for them. A pure devotee of Lord like Brahma and a person in his disciplic succession are always unhappy to see the perplexity of the conditioned soul who are suffering the onslaught of threefold miseries which pertain to the body and mind, to the disturbance of the material nature, and to many other material disadvantage. Not knowing the adequate measures for relieving such difficulties, suffering person sometimes pose themselves as the leader of the people, and unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantage under the so-called leadership, like a blind man leading another blind man to a fall into a ditch. Therefore, unless the devotee of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. Yeah. The devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic sense and chairs are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. Okay, so this is today's verse. Yeah, so let me start. Let us just see back about the complete context. Where we are. Yeah. So in previous chapter we saw, how what to say. Yeah, Vidura is asking Maitreya about more detail about the Lord. And then Maitreya been very happy, by all the such question. He uh, starts speaking about Bhagavatam. And he mentions, like, this Bhagavatam was spoken by earlier, Anantadev to four Kumaras. And then he talks about like four Kumaras spoke to, he will tell, four Kumaras speak to other devotee, forgot the name. Yeah. And then he starts speaking about how in the beginning Lord was sleeping, and then uh, from his navel Brahma came, and then Brahma did a lot of tapasya, and then he searched around. Finally, after doing a lot of tapasya, he heard the voice, and then he was, within his heart, he was able to see the Lord. And then seeing the Lord, he starts praying to the Lord. So this chapter, we are, the prayers of Brahma. So Lord Brahma prays to, yeah, for before creating, for the creative energy. So to get all the creative energy, he has to pray to the Lord. And he's a secondary creator. The primary creator is Krishna. And then Brahma's prayers are going on. So, previous shlokas we saw, these shlokas are so beautiful, and how nicely Brahma, says, the previous shloka we see, many, many parents I came to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. Yeah, there is nothing superior to you. Yeah, correct. The form which I see is eternally freed from material contamination and has advocated to show mercy to the devotees. Yeah, the incarnation is origin of many other incarnation, and I am born from the lotus flower. So in the previous chapter, we see the description of how the Narayana looks. The Vishnu's description is there. Very beautiful description is there. Yeah, and then he's praying, "Oh my Lord, I do not see the form superior to you, your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change, no deterioration of internal bliss. I surrender unto you." So then he talks about this. Yeah, now here comes today's shloka. Okay, let us just be. So, my Lord, who smell the aroma of your lotus feet carried by the Vedic sound through the holes of their ears. Yeah, accept your devotional service. For them, you are never separated from the heart, from the lotus of their heart. Okay. Oh, my Lord, the people of the world are embraced by material anxieties. So, this is a previous text. Material anxiety. They are always afraid. They always try to protect the wealth, body, and friends. They are filled with the lamentation and unlawful desires and paraphernalia. And they avariciously base their understanding on the perishable concept of my and mine. As long as they do not take shelter of your safe lotus feet, they are full of anxiety. Oh, my Lord, the person who are bereft of all auspiciousness, performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are bereft of good sense. So they engage in the inauspicious activities, enjoying the sense gratification for a little while. So basically, this was, the shloka number 7, which, which describes what is the most unfortunate thing. So Brahma says, yeah, Brahma says, yeah, most unfortunate, or thing is that, yeah, is one who is not hearing and chanting. So the very unfortunate thing is somebody who's not hearing or chanting. That is the most unfortunate thing. It is like a person who has a rich father and he's in a street and he has forgotten about his father. Similarly, like, the living entity, we have forgotten about our real father. And Prabhupada says, yeah, what is why these people are not hearing and chanting? What is the cause? The Prabhupada says the cause is their offense performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. So whatever papa karma, or whatever karmas they do for their sense gratification, that is kind of offense, and which is holding them back from chanting the glories of the Lord, or hearing about the glories of the Lord, or chanting. And only by the grace of pure devotee, such unfortunate men can be elevated to the position of a transcendental service. Only by the pure devotees they can be kind of elevated. So coming to this, first we'll try to understand, this is Bhagavatam. Okay, so where does Bhagavatam come? So we have many Puranas. We have 18. What to say? Many scriptures. So out of that, around 18 Puranas are there. So yeah, so in that Some of the Vedic scriptures, they deal with the um, mode of goodness, and some of deal with the mode of passion, and some deal with the mode of happiness. Yeah. And Bhagavatam comes in the topmost, which is like a Shuddha Sattva. Okay. So it is kind of a Shuddha Sattva. Yeah. So it is not the kind of it is not in uh, what do you say? Yeah, it is not in mode of like, some people who are in mode of um, ignorance or in mode of passion. So according to them, there are Vedic scriptures, but Bhagavatam is above all of them. So now the question is there, we are seeing in Bhagavatam, like, it is talking about material things, it is talking about, if you see in this shloka, how unfortunate are they. Okay. And in the next shloka also, we can see it says, it is describing kind of a little material stuff, a great actor, the people perplexed by hunger, thirst, the severe cold, secretion, all those. So one might be thinking, why, all this is described. So Bhagavatam is like, pure devotional, this thing. So it should describe more of a pastime of the Lord. But to understand, the pastime of Lord, we should understand the kind of, like, what you say? Yeah, the miseries of this world, only then, yeah, we can understand kind of the glories of the supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, so Bhagavatam, step by step, it kind of prepares a person to, like, in the 10th canto, the pastime of the Lord will come. So before that, the person has to be kind of prepared. So similarly, the Bhagavatam, slowly, step by step, it keeps on upgrading the person. Okay, so that is how it is like the Bhagavatam. That is the reason we see, yeah, kind of a different material things also is been described. So basically, to take to the person to higher level. So we understand, like, all devotees are worshipable. Yeah, but there are different levels of a devotee. There will be a Shuddha devotees, or pure devotees, and then there will be a Karma Mishra devotees. Karma Mishra devotees are kind of a devotees who are kind of a, still have some kind of a attachment to the material world. Like, for example, if you take the pastime of Govardhan, Govardhan pastime of how Lord lifts the Govardhan. So we see Indra there. The Indra, he will try to come and try to, what you say, uh, destroy the Lord. Okay, and he wants to invade complete Vrindavan. But as we see, kind of how foolish Indra is there. Doesn't he know, like, this Krishna is the supreme person of Godhead? Indra also knows this, but sometime due to the attachment to the material world. So this devotees, or the devtas, they are kind of a mishra. They are not at a pure devotional level. Okay, so they have a kind of a mishra. So a person who still has some attachment in this material world is called as a karma mishra. Okay, or Mishra devotees. They are kind of mixed, not a pure devotional. They still have a attachment. Okay, so that is the reason. Yeah, so that is the reason. Like, we see Indra, or or other demigods, doing something which, we might see it is like, not correct. But later, when we point out to Indra, like, he's doing incorrect, but actually we are not pointing out to him. Actually, it is kind of a, like, if you point one finger to somebody, the three fingers are pointing to us. Similarly, like, it is basically we are laughing on ourselves. Like how we also have so many attachment to this material world. Okay, but like, we know in the past in Mahabharata, when Bhishma Dev. So there is one more point here, So there is very, very nice point. Yeah. So it says, hmm, yeah. So all of the poor which are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, all different things are there, he says, and other disturbance, and overwhelmed by the strong desires for, strong sex urges. Okay, so in this regard, like when, what is it, Devdatta, or who is like Bhishma Dev. he takes urge. Sorry, when he takes a vow, vow to never get married, and serve the kingdom. So all devatas, they kind of tell, what a big, what a big vow, or Bhishma, kind of a very big vow this devata has taken. Huh? So that is he has taken. So similarly, so even devatas know, the biggest one of the the core desire or the core attachment to this material world is kind of a attraction to the opposite sex. So that is the one of the key binding force in this material world. Okay, so in that regards, this what is it? This demigods and everybody, when Vishnudev takes this vow, so he's called as a Bhishma, because he's taken a big vow. Okay, so similarly, all devotees when they take initiation, so they also take this vow, kind of a four vows, following the four regulative principles, so which is also kind of a great thing. Yeah, yeah. The pure devotees have no desires, but karma mishra devotees still have this attachment to the material world. Okay. Mm. So this is, yeah, what is there? Mm. Correct. Yeah. So that is what we kind of understand here. Mm. Yeah. So sincere devotees or the pure devotees have no material desires. So they just, for anything, they don't have any desire. But material, I mean to say, the karma mishra, or the practicing devotee, they have still attachment to the material world. So how to get out of this attachment is that if you have some higher taste, only then you can give up the lower taste. And what is the param nivartante? Yeah. So if you have, I know, what is it? A pure love to the holy name, like, holy name, nam namakari bhavta nija sarva shakti tatrapi anita niyamita smarana. Yeah. So it has all the, all the potencies. And like, in Shastastakam it comes Janina Anuragaha. Even like, it has everything, Anand Buddhi Vardhanam, but still I have no attachment for that. Okay. So because of that, we don't have that, pure attachment to the, or we don't have that attachment to the holy name. We are not able to develop the taste. And since we don't have the taste, yeah, that is the reason, this we are not able to say no to the material desires. So the best solution is to have attachment to the uh, holy name. And how we can get this attachment to the holy name is, chanting uh, again and again, and like that is how it has been prescribed. Like daily, we should chant a specified number of rounds, like 16 rounds or whatever number of rounds we are doing. So that is how we do it. And once we start developing this love for the holy name, the desire to the material attachments will go away. So the shloka talks about, yeah, all this, all these creatures are constantly perplexed by the hunger, all this. Okay. Yeah. And the devotees feel pity on that. And why these things are there? Why these things are there? Because they have an attachment to the material world. Like, for example, even if we are a devotee, or, or karma mishra devotees or practicing devotees, there is still an attachment to this material world. And how one can give up this attachment? By developing the taste for the holy name, bas. And how we can develop this taste for holy name? By association of the pure devotees, or association of Bhagavatam. If you daily hear the Bhagavatam, yeah. So in this regard, there is a pastime of Sanatan Goswami. Like, Sanatan Goswami, he says, "Oh holy Bhagavatam, you are my only company and only friend and my guru. Hmm? You are my greatest treasure and my personal savior. You are the emblem of a highest fortune and very form of ecstasy. I offer my obeisances unto you." So Shila what is it? Sanatana Goswami. So when he was young, he had a dream, like that describes, when Sanatana Goswami was young at the age of around 8 or 9. So he had a dream of Brahmana coming and giving him a Bhagavatam. So Sanatana Goswami had so much attachment for Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and the dream came true. Actually, the Brahmana came and gave Sanatana Goswami this Bhagavatam, and he had so much attachment for the Bhagavatam, and then he glorifies this holy Bhagavatam. You are my only company. Okay, so there are two kinds of Bhagavat. One is a book Bhagavatam, and one is a person Bhagavatam. Person Bhagavatam is like a spiritual master who comes in a disciplic succession. Okay, book Bhagavatam can give you the knowledge, but book Bhagavatam cannot catch your ears if you do any mistake. But a person Bhagavatam can do it. So both Bhagavatam are required. Okay, and what does this Bhagavatam do? Bhagavatam cuts an attachment to the uh, Hridaya Grantha. So whatever is their attachment in this material world to all these bad things, they are cut down by the Bhagavatam or the sadhus. Sadhus, what does sadhus do? Sadhus cut down all your attachment to the bad things. Like this in the previous verse we can see the seventh verse. We can see it says all auspicious performance, how they are unfortunate of uh, how they are unfortunate. And they are engaged in inauspicious activities. And what Prabhupada says, only by the grace of pure devotees, such unfortunate men can be elevated. So the sadhus are the, or a pure devotees are the one who cut the attachment to these unauspicious activities, of which the living entities are engaged in. And they give pure love to the Lord. So Bhagavatam, till many times describes about what are the problems of this material world and all, because until the moment one is not prepared to understand the pastime of the Lord, what he can understand of the pastimes of the Lord. Similarly, the Bhagavatam will slowly and slowly will prepare. So that is the reason, for example, if a person gets some disease or some flu or something like that, so what is the solution? So daily he has to take one pill. So similarly, this Bhagavatam, one reads Bhagavatam daily, so he will get all this information, and slowly this attachment to this material world or, so inauspicious activities. So in this regard, it comes also mm, mm. So all the good qualities in a person is developed, when he becomes a devotee of the Lord, so somewhere I written, yeah. If you take daily pill of this Bhagavatam, it will cure this material disease. What is this material disease? Of attachment to this material world to gratify the senses. And this, as Bhagavatam says, the verse 7 says, this is for a while, the happiness what we can get in this material world is a temporary happiness. After some time, this everything will go, this body through which we try to achieve all happiness will vanish after some time. All the things in this material world will be destroyed by the time. So there is nothing permanent. So only a real happiness can be achieved by getting doing a devotion to the Lord. Okay, so this chanting the holy name is something like a panacea. So panacea is kind of a word which says solution to the all problems, or some kind of a medicine which can solve all the problem. Okay, similarly, this holy name is like a panacea, and which can solve all the problems, of this material world. If you become more and more attached to the holy name, attend daily Mangalarti and hear Srimad Bhagavatam, so you become more and more attached to the spiritual world, or I would say the Lord. And once you get attached to the Lord, it says that is the most fortune. We hear the glories of the Lord, chanting the holy name. So then you can get yeah, more and more happiness. Okay, so that is what this Bhagavat, yeah, it was there. Yeah, yeah. So metal world is mm. Yeah. So similarly, like sadhu, he sees through ears. So basically, through hearing, the hearing the pastime of the Lord, we can see the Lord basically, so like how the pastime of mother when it comes, like mother when he would not never would have seen Krishna. So but just hearing about him, she develops a love for uh, Krishna, and then she's so much attached to the Lord that she wants to get married only to the Lord. So that is how, yeah. So yeah, so Bhagavatam, we keep on hearing Bhagavatam, so we get attachment to the Lord. Yeah. And one more thing which it is said, yeah, spiritual life, the very dangerous thing is the uh, procrastination. Basically putting the things for tomorrow. Sometimes we see, we don't have that urgency. So that is a very dangerous stuff. Yeah. So that, but one lecture which I was hearing of Andhra Prabhu, and also which I was hearing of Vindadu Maharaj. So he was saying, in spiritual life, urgency is the most important thing. When you're chanting, we should think like, this is my last bead, so this is the last holy name which I'm going to take. So with that kind of intensity, when we chant, then our chanting will improve. So similarly, many a times we hear in this world, people will say, why practice Krishna consciousness now? You can take Krishna consciousness little later in the life, at the older age. Yeah. So that is what different, not only like in India, all other countries or different religions. So all they mention, spirituality is for the people, old people kind of stuff. But then we should understand who is old, who is near to the death, and any death can come to any person anytime. So taking that understanding, we should practice this spiritual life with urgency. Like this is the last this thing, what you say, japa which I'm doing. So with that kind of intensity, when we chant, then we get intense, what you say, this thing. Then we can develop intensity of um, chanting the holy name, and then we can go get a love for chanting the holy name. Yeah. Yeah, we should give this, maintaining this attachment to this material world. So there is one small pastime or one story which you might have heard. Like once one person came, he told, I am, I want to become your disciple. Yeah, but only one problem I have is that this Maya is caught me. So Maya is not leaving me. Yeah, and I want to, so kind of, then this guru told, okay, oh, is it like that? So then he went, he was going, and then he caught one tree. The guru caught one tree, and then he told, this tree is not leaving me, this tree is not leaving me, please get rid of me from this tree. And then that person, he told, "Ki, Maharaj, tree has not caught you, you have caught the tree." So then, sadhu says similarly, like Maya has not caught you, you have caught Maya. You are not leaving these material attachments, you are not developing that desire for the spiritual thing. Until the moment you don't give up this Maya or attachment to this material world, so you cannot develop. So that is what, so in this regard, there was one pastime which I was hearing, like one of the lecture which I was hearing about, Indidu Maharaj was mentioning about a pastime which Maharaj had with Prabhupada. Like when he was traveling with Prabhupada, and one time when he was traveling with Prabhupada, so Prabhupada used to carry this white bag. Okay. This white bag was there, which he used to always carry. And this Maharaj wanted to see, he was very curious, like all other devotees, what is there in this white bag? Because Prabhupada used to never give it to anybody, and he used to be, carrying that. So when he went to the airport, and one of the security person told, open this bag, and due to some reason this bag was not getting opened. And then this person started speaking very harshly, this airport person. And then Indidu Maharaj got kind of a little, because he was speaking harshly with Prabhupada, he got angry and he told, if you speak one more time, if you speak like this with my spiritual master, then, I will beat your face, I will, punch your face, something like that, he told. And this person got little, this thing, what is it? Because Hare Krishna, because I heard Hare Krishna people are very non-violent. So now you will see, then Indidu Maharaj says, so you can see what will happen if you do this. So then he told, why don't you open the bag? So then Indidu Maharaj kind of takes that bag from, asks Prabhupada, and Prabhupada gives that bag, and then Maharaj opens that bag, and Maharaj describes, how he was so curious to see that bag. So he saw, like, he has a Prabhupada had a tilak, and he had a extra japa and his kartal, all those he saw, he opened the bag and saw that, and then he showed that bag to this person and immediately closed. And later when he was walking with the Prabhupada, so Maharaj mentions he and only Prabhupada was there. So Prabhupada told him, like, this due to the association of this material world, all the bad qualities come, and so that is the reason of person getting stuck. And like, because Indidu Maharaj was kind of a new and he was kind of a shaken, so he didn't quite understand that, but he said, yes, Prabhupada. Again, after some time, Prabhupada goes a little further and he says the same thing, because of association of this material world, of these all different qualities of material world, the person gets stuck in this material world. So third time when Prabhupada says the same thing, and then Maharaj, understands. He says, yes, Prabhupada. So, this person getting stuck because of this, because of this sense gratification of, doing all these material activities, he get, and to get out of this material world it's only possible when you get the knowledge, or when you think about develop a devotional service to the Lord, because devotional service develops all the good qualities. Once, people having constant association of material things don't get the devotion. So that is what. And if one gets a devotional, one does a devotional uh, service to the Lord, all the qualities which are there in demigods, all the good qualities will manifest itself, self-manifested. So that is how is there. Okay. Yeah. So let me just see if I missed out some other point. Yeah. One more thing is that, it is like, therefore, unless the devotees of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path. So until the moment, like in this material world, a living entity is going from one, one universe to other universe, Brahmand, Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev. So material world, the jivas are suffering, from this one. For example, they are changing the life, one life or one body after another, and that way, like, till the life of Brahma is there, they are there in the one universe, and only when the Brahma dies, they go to the different universe. Okay, so this living entity is suffering and is going from one universe to other universe. Okay. And until the moment he doesn't get the blessing of a devotee, he cannot get out of this material world. So if somebody gets like, we see how Prabhupada was so merciful. Like, here also it says, the devotees of Lord who want to take the responsibility of raising this foolish materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as the Lord Brahma. So, like, Prabhupada took pity on this, so that is a first quality of a devotee. He is a kind of a compassionate to other living entities. And what is the best form of compassion? best form of compassion is giving somebody Krishna consciousness. The world, people are suffering. And what is a major cause of suffering? If you give somebody cloth or if you give somebody food, so will that solve that problem? That might solve that problem immediately. Somebody's body is not good, so giving a food, will solve his problem. But will his eternal problem get solved? No, the eternal problem will not get solved, because anybody who is there in this material world will be suffering. He has to undergo this, all this suffering which is mentioned. Hunger, thirst, severe cold, all this happen. Why? Because he is there in this material world. And what is the reason he is there in this material world? Because he wants to enjoy separately from the Lord. So he doesn't, he has left out the Lord, and he had come to this material world to become the Lord himself. And then what is the solution for that? The solution is that he should turn back towards the Lord. So that is the only solution. Until the moment he doesn't turn back to the Lord, whatever other things a person might get, or if you want to, make somebody happy, like at maximum what you can do, you can make him happy till the end of his current life. But after that, again he will suffer, because this world, birth, death, old age, disease. So this is eternally there. Plus there are all three miseries, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik. So these are the three kleshas which always will be there. This world, nobody can be happy. And if you want to make somebody happy, what you can do? You can give him Krishna consciousness. So that is the only solution, and who gives that solution is very confidential. And like as Lord Brahma is there. So Lord Brahma is kind of very dear to the Lord. And similarly, like it also comes in Gopi Gita when it says, Tava Kattamrita Tapta Jivanam. It says, Burida Ja Janaha. So who gives this, what is it? This Krishna consciousness to the people in general. So they are kind of a most magnanimous, best thing. They are kind of a most merciful or most, munificent. So they are the one who can give a Krishna consciousness to other, and they are very dear to the Lord. So that is how we understand. So this importance of yeah. And if how Prabhupada says, some leaders, they might say like, we can do this, we can do that, but what they are like a blind people. Why they are called as a blind people? Because they just help a person to, because they themselves don't know the way, and they are taking other blind people to help. Because if somebody is some leader or something, somebody is there who's just helping his followers to enjoy the material senses more and more and develop no Krishna consciousness. So that person is leading the other person to the kind of a hell, basically. So because this person will also suffer, the people who are following him also will kind of suffer. Okay. Mm. Yeah. So here Prabhupada says, those who are suffering onslaughts of threefold miseries, Adhyatmik, Adi, Bhautik. Yeah. Not knowing the adequate measure for such studies. Yeah. They put themselves into trouble, and also to others also they will put onto the trouble. Yeah. So and it says, person who are bereft of all auspicious performance of a chanting and hearing. So in the Bhakti Samra Sindhu, it comes, what are the qualities of japa? What are the benefit of chanting? It says just the byproduct, not even the main product. Just a byproduct. Like for example, when we extract, there is a this we get crude oils. We get a crude oil from the from the earth, and then you do a refining. You separate. The main product out of this is kind of a petrol, and pure than the petrol will be the kind of a white petrol or something like that, which will be used by the jets and all. So they are kind of a main product. Then you get other LPG or so many things you will get from this crude oil. Okay, the remaining, the last thing which you get is kind of damper, or the tar what you get. So, but yes, so similarly, like this other products are like a byproduct. So you don't exactly want a tar, or you don't exactly want this other byproducts, but they will come out when you're doing refined. So similarly, Bhagavatam, no, Bhakti Sindhu says the chanting the holy name, it creates an auspiciousness, and it is just a byproduct. It's not even the real product. Real product is what of chanting the holy name is it develops a love for Krishna. So that is a real product of the holy name. If you chant the holy name, then what will happen? You will develop a love for the Lord. And when this you develop the love for the Lord, what will happen? Your heart, when you chant the holy name, your heart will get purified, and Krishna will come himself to your heart, and then he will clear it. He will kind of a clean your heart from within. So who can be more merciful? Who himself comes and cleans our heart. So so here it says the person who are bereft of all auspiciousness, performance of chanting and hearing. So this chanting and hearing is kind of a most auspicious thing, and is the kind of auspiciousness is just a byproduct. So the best thing what this chanting and hearing does, it gives attachment to the Lord. So as I was describing the pastime of Mother Rukmani, so like that, so we just constantly hear about the Lord, and how a person who has forgotten about his past, like in the movies we see, if somebody has forgotten about the past, so what we should do, we should keep on reminding about his past, talk about the old things and hear about the old music. Similarly, Bhagavatam, it repeats, you see, many places it might come, how this miserable is this metal world. And then how good is the spiritual world, which will come in later part, around like pastimes of the Lord, because we should understand who is the Lord. Then only we can develop attachment to Him. So similarly, is the yeah. So here we is there any questions? Okay, so these two shlokas are very beautiful, where Brahma prays, and he tells how misfortunate the people are there of this material world. So he's basically telling to us, sometimes we hear this pastime of Indra, and we think, how foolish Indra is, but actually he is not foolish. It is us who are foolish. We are thinking, I am the Indra of this house, or I am the Indra of this family. I am the controller. I am the, in previous verse also would have seen, Mama Mameti, I and mine. So similarly, we should understand this. Actually, when we are laughing on Indra, it's not on Indra. You should be laughing on ourselves, because we are in that position, and it is he who is, just he's the devotee of the Lord, and he's helping us to understand this. So similarly, we are also practicing devotees and karma mishra. Slowly, we should give up all this thing and develop more and more attachment to the Lord and His holy name. Okay, so is there any questions? Is this clear? Mahesh, any questions? Or somebody else? Okay, if not, we will end our discussion here. And tomorrow again, we will see the further, glorification of the Lord. So beautiful, each verse is like of Bhagavatam is so nice. Okay, so we will end our session here. Hare Krishna. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.